Call this meeting of the Committee of the Whole to order at 6:38. Roll call, please.
Miss Allen,
Yes, here.
Mr. Miller, Mr. Daugherty,
Here.
Mr. Burchett,
Here.
Miss Witt,
Here.
Mayor Murphy,
Here.
Miss Marcus.
Here.
I'll make a motion to excuse Councilman Dave Miller from this meeting.
Roll call, please.
Miss Witt,
Yes.
Mr. Burchett,
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty,
Yes.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Miss Allen,
Yes.
Miss Marcus.
Yes. We have the approval of the minutes for the Committee of the Whole meeting for October 24th. Nobody has any corrections, they will be approved as they are. Hearing none, they are approved. Acting Finance Director,
I have nothing at this time, thank you.
City Manager,
I have no items, Ms. Marcus, thank you.
Mayor Murphy,
I have no items at this time, thank you.
Law Director.
Yes, I have one request. That's for an executive session at the end of this meeting with no business to follow for matters pertaining to employment of a public employee, for matters pertaining to employment and compensation of a public employee and matters pertaining to disposition of city-owned real estate.
Make a motion that we go to executive session after, for what the law director has said after this meeting with no business to follow.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Miss Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty,
Yes.
Miss Witt,
Yes.
Mr. Burchett,
Yes.
Miss Marcus.
Yes. That all? Our Acting Clerk of Council.
Just a reminder real quick about the ribbon cutting on Monday. I think I told everybody, but ribbon cutting Monday, 9 a.m. at the Tyler Technologies Building for CyberGo.
Thank you. Move into business. Anyone wishing to raise a question about any piece of legislation listed on this agenda, we'll have 3 minutes at this time. All other topics to be addressed to council will be heard later in this meeting. Having a taker, so we'll go into item A, the amended energy special improvement district, ESID, articles of incorporation of the Dayton Energy Special Improvement District.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Marcus. So before I say what we're actually doing, we are part of the ESID because we're contiguous with Dayton, and then as long as you're then connected to another neighboring jurisdiction, you can be as well. Centerville is a member. There's a couple others that are slipping me at the moment. But what the ESID does is there's a program that they run called PACE. And the PACE program allows a business, say they need to make a significant investment in energy efficiency, utilities, things of that nature. Instead of tackling all that cost at once, they can actually have it applied to their taxes. And as they experience the savings from the new equipment and installation, they can utilize that money to pay down the debt that is applied to their taxes. So it's been an economic tool, so to speak. We do have one entity that currently uses it. It was for the strip center where Subbies is. Tennerman, I think is his name. But the reason this is in front of you is the Dayton ESID would like to expand it to allow all jurisdictions within Montgomery County. So any jurisdiction that is a current member must pass legislation supporting that effort. Is ultimately what we're looking to do.
Comments or questions? You have a motion.
You needed a resolution?
We do.
I'll make a motion that the resolution, necessary legislation be prepared for the next council.
Call, please.
Miss Allen,
Yes?
Mr. Daugherty,
Yes.
Miss Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Burchett,
Yes.
Miss Marcus.
Yes. Item B, the 2025 Public Defender Contract. Housekeeping.
We do it annually, and we just need it
Need a motion for
I'll make a motion to draw up legislation for the 2025 Public Defender contract.
call, please?
Mr. Daugherty,
Yes.
Ms. Witt,
Yes.
Ms. Allen,
Yes.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Burchett,
Yes.
Ms. Marcus.
Yes. Item C, the city credit card policy update.
Thank you. We do an annual review of the credit card policy. There was a request from the Building Maintenance Department to add a position to the current policy for the maintenance worker 3 with all the remodel and stuff happening. There are times that they need to go out and purchase. We don't have that position listed on the current policy, so we want to add that position with a limit of 10,000. And I don't see a problem with adding that, especially with all the purchases that are going to be. And so I'm asking for legislation to update the policy.
Who oversees the credit?
The finance department oversees the credit cards, all the payments, all the limits. We have a custodian of, yeah,
Who is that?
Rich Heisey is the one in our department who goes through and double checks. And
I don't believe he is.
correct.
Any other questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we update the city credit card policy legislation for the next meeting.
Roll call, please?
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Ms. Witt,
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty,
Yes.
Mr. Burchett,
Yes.
Ms. Allen,
Yes.
Ms. Marcus.
Yes. The next item is the continuation of the city's self-insurance program and renewal of its contract with Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Thank you. This is the renewal for the benefits that we've had for many, many years. And going into next year, we have to update the contract. It was discussed during our budget meeting that there'll be a small decrease in expected claims for next year, where the next piece will be talking about the stop loss, where there'll be a small increase there, so they'll offset. There will be no additional funding necessary at this point, at least is what we're expecting going into next year. So I need legislation approving the renewal of that.
Any questions or comments? Have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we continue the city's program, renewal of the contract with Anthem Blue Cross.
Roll call, please?
Ms. Witt,
Yes.
Mr. Burchett,
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty,
Yes.
Ms. Allen,
Yes.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Ms. Marcus.
Yes. Next one is the end-of-year budget adjustment.
Thank you. So I'm requesting legislation for the next meeting for the end-of-year budget adjustments. Every year, there's some adjustments that are required so that we don't have any negatives or too much of a positive in any particular account. So we're requesting legislation. Now, the Shared Resource Center is working on that actual figure and those numbers, but again, because we only have so many meetings left in the year, I'm asking for the legislation at a time and the numbers to be.
Questions or comments?
The resolution. I'll make a motion that the necessary legislation be prepared for the end-of-year budget adjustment as requested by the Deputy Finance Director.
Roll call, please?
Ms. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty,
Yes.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Burchett,
Yes.
Ms. Witt,
Yes.
Ms. Marcus.
Yes. Next item is the 2025 annual budget.
Thank you. This is asking for legislation for the 25 budget, annual budget to be approved. The information that is attached is a adjusted numbers from where we determined from our budget meetings. All the requests or changes that were discussed at that time are reflected in these numbers. So again, asking for legislation, have that to pass.
Any questions or comments?
I'll make a motion to approve the end-of-year budget.
No.
Or, sorry, to draw up resolution
No.
for,
Annual budget.
for the 2025.
Annual budget.
Annual budget. Just drag it out of me here.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Daugherty,
Yes.
Mr. Burchett,
Yes.
Miss Allen,
Yes.
Miss Marcus,
Yes.
Miss Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
The next item is the Berkeley Life and Health Insurance Company, Berkeley Accident and Health, and the Waymark Collective for stop-loss insurance coverage.
Thank you. This is what I briefly touched on earlier during our budget meetings. Again, there's going to be an expected reduction or decrease for expected claims with Anthem, where we had increased stop-loss usage last year. There's going to be a small increase, again, offsetting the two. But again, this is an annual renewal of that benefit. And I'm asking for legislation to have that approved, go forward with the interruptions for 25.
Any questions or comments?
I'll make a motion that we have a resolution prepared for our next council meeting for the Berkeley Life and Health Insurance Company for our stop-loss insurance coverage for the year of 2025.
Roll, please.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Miss Witt,
Yes.
Mr. Burchett,
Yes.
Miss Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty,
Yes.
Miss Marcus.
Yes. That concludes our business. Do we have any person in the audience wishing to appear before council? Speakers, we'll go into staff and council reports. Start with the police department,
Nothing to report, thank you.
fire department,
Nothing to report, thank you.
parks and rec,
I have nothing to report, thank you.
street department,
No report, thank you.
engineering,
No report, thank you.
building and zoning.
No report, thank you.
I have no items, Ms. Marcus, thank you.
Murphy,
I have no items, thank you.
No report, thank you.
finance,
Thank you for going through all those for me.
thank you. Burchett,
I have nothing, thank you.
Mr. Daugherty.
Nothing to report, Ms. Marcus, thank you.
I have a question for Mike. What is AES doing? Putting in new poles? And they knocked on my door just before I left. And they want to know if they could use my extra lot tomorrow. Say they just wanted to use my extra lot.
I might be able to speak to this one here. Did you say it was the AES company?
Yes.
So they're
That's who they said you
replacing,
were.
they're replacing about 40 poles throughout the city, most of them being in private property, and they're all failing poles. So it's, the work they've been doing around the city has been pretty good and clean. So I would hope that they have the same respect for your property that they've had for the others that I've inspected.
Okay, thank you. How can they do that if it's going to be rainy tomorrow and there's going to be big fires? Okay. Yeah, I told them it's okay if they did.
I've got a related one. There's been, I sent you an email about part of it, Note Point. I believe AT&T is coming out, and we're not going to use the items put in by Ultra Fiber, and they're going in, doing the same thing, digging up all the spots that Ultra Fiber had dug up. And a resident was told that that won't be the last one, that there's another company planning on coming behind them and doing the same thing. And the mess that Ultra Fiber made, apparently it's not cleaned up. I saw a picture where they were supposedly reseeded it, grass. It wasn't grass. I'm not sure what it was.
You know, because Lauren's working on that as well, essentially, we cannot regulate or discriminate, so to speak, between one utility provider and another. So they're all allowed to have access within the easement. However, they have to get right-of-way permits through the city engineer's office, and they also are supposed to put the property back into its prior condition. So if you know a specific address, Jeanette, just share that, and we'll get it handled. Lauren and Ben both go out and inspect the work that's being done on all the right-of-way permits. So we'll keep up on it, but we cannot, if someone's coming in after Alter Fiber, we cannot turn around and just tell them no. They have the same ability, provided there's room within the easement, or they may be, they might actually be extending fiber within an existing conduit that's already in place. Share
The
that.
concern is that multiple people digging it up, going to expand the amount of damage to their property. Since Alter Fiber did not heat up completely yet behind them, they're afraid of these other companies coming in.
Well, they also have bonds for the work, correct, Lauren? So
We
they're
have
held
bonds, we've been
accountable.
chasing them, and it's hard keeping up with all of them because they're all over the city and all different subcontractors, but we're doing our best to keep up with them. And I have a list of all the different properties that have been affected, and they will be inspected, and we'll pull the bonds if we need to.
What about the properties where Alter Fiber didn't install any? They only did it in Oak Point in my ward. The rest of us didn't get it. And this other company looks like, so far, it looks like it's doing the same thing, because I haven't heard anything from other properties. I know I didn't get it.
So Alta Fiber, I think, was it previously AT&T?
AT&T's the current one,
Cincinnati
Alta Fiber's
Wire.
the previous one, I
Okay.
believe.
They
For
were
the-
another company, they may have already had conduit in your neighborhood, and so maybe they didn't have to rerun, I'm not sure.
I don't know where they're running them from, unless they're just doing like Spectrum did and running long lines through everybody's backyard, because there's no boxes or anything out in front of any of the houses. None of that was done to the neighborhood.
And back to Alta Fiber, do you happen to know a specific address where they have not brought it back to
I
existing condition?
can try to find out. But
Please-
they
please do,
did,
so
but
we
they
can-
put a picture of what was supposed to be grass seed that they had planted. It looked more like some type of a clover or something.
It might have been were they supposed to hydro seed those? Do you recall, Lauren?
Hydro seed's required. A lot of the other companies have been using pen mulch, which is kind of a pellet seed. And you're saying what grew in was more of a clover, less of a fescue grass?
It was definitely not grass. It had round leaves on it. It wasn't quite clover either, but it had a whole bunch of round leaves on it. There was no grass in it.
Well,
Okay.
then we'll find out the property, or if you can share it, and we'll make sure that the contractor, because most of these companies are using subs or contractors to do the work, but we still have the ability to hold them accountable.
I'm wondering why my neighborhood, too. I'd like to know why my neighborhood's not getting fiber either.
I think we would have to look and see if you have fiber existing through that neighborhood. We can try to look through that,
Okay.
or ask the
We
utility providers.
We have Spectrum. As far as I know, that's all we have. AT&T has gone into some of the houses, but I believe they're using Spectrum's cable.
Or
I
probably
was hoping
conduit,
we
it's
were gonna
probably
get
their
a-
own fiber, but they're using the existing conduit, I bet. Maybe sharing that, I don't know.
I don't know, I was hoping we were gonna get away from it, because they have dug up my yard so many times, Spectrum has, and when they keep replacing the cable, they never take the old cable out. Well, I shouldn't say never, I did one time get a guy that said, okay, I'll take it out, but the other time the guy's like, we don't have to, that's your problem. And I finally got them to put in an aerial cable on mine after I insisted, because I was tired of trying to mow the lawn and finding cable laying on the ground, or having my dogs dig it up. It's been a constant headache with that cable underneath the ground from Spectrum. So now they put up an aerial cable, and I haven't had any more problems. But I don't know what's going on. I thought we were going to have some options for cable throughout the city, and not cable, internet.
Yeah, being run off fiber, so we can try to look and find out what utility fiber providers are over in your area.
Speaking to AES or our church, the trucks came in, the AES trucks, and they damaged our drive, and within no time, we'd gotten a check, enabled us to do our work.
Okay, so they
So they
are-
were very prompt.
it's good to hear, because they're also a business in the city, so. on Dryden Road, so.
I hope
that's
it works
important.
that way. I know when my dad's was done a number of years ago, he had to fight with them, and they came out like about 3 times before they finally fixed everything.
You reckon? Yes.
Well, again, staff does go out, does inspect, and does call, and actually has had several contractors come out, so, to redo work that they had done that wasn't satisfactory.
All right, so that's it. At this time, we will recess executive session with no business to follow.